You know, it's funny. Firemen tend to hate two things, right, Bob? Change and the way things are.
Yes.
And in my experience, nothing has been harder to change in the world of hazmat than actual decon process itself. I can absolutely remember being in my first technician class and we were going through decon and the whole car wash method. And I remember sitting there going, this is stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And coming up to people being like, why do we do it this way? And what do we get with the what do you say? It's the 150 years of tradition unimpeded by progress,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
That is exactly, decon finally got to the point where we moved beyond that. And the answer as to why we do this and just being shoot off to the side, we are finally starting to make some progress in the hazmat world with decon. And we have people with us that are on the front cutting edge of that new transition.
You're bringing the best.
The best.
Actually, it's probably the only. So it's pretty. No, you know, we were talking at length about creating this episode, and what really kind of got me was the evolution, right, where it was. And you were saying what,
1918 is when we can really first say mobile degassing unit number one, World War One.
I love it.
That's when decon started, and didn't really change for the next 100 years.
Well, if you're asking yourself what voice, who that will belong to, I want to, bring on both of them. I'm here with Amit from First Line.
Welcome to First Line.
It's great. We just did 2 episodes back to back in this facility, and it's an incredible facility.
This is our Training Annex in Fredericksburg.
I love it. It's amazing.
Glad you could leave New York and get down here.
It's very nice to leave New York. There's no traffic.
And we were here with Corey, right?
Yep. Yeah. Welcome to my humble abode.
You live here.
Where I live, and I sleep
your
in
trailer
the RV out back. Yep.
We'll have some B-roll photos of that trailer. Absolutely phenomenal training facility, only to match some of the products that you guys have when it comes to decon. And this really is something that I hold true to my heart, because I never understood why we would decon the method that we have, and I never understood why people were so attached to it, right? And I tell people all the time when they look at me like I'm crazy for not wanting to do the car wash method, the 3-pool shower. I say, if you drop a chicken cutlet on your countertop at home, do you go out to the garage, drag your hose in, soak down your entire kitchen, and then mop it up? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, then why do we do that to us? So the whole idea of decon really has been evolutionized. When did you guys first start getting into this new method of decon? Because I know for you, it's been a long time too, and it's been a struggle to get people to realize what the truth is.
Totally. So, I mean, like, I've been doing decon 20 years. And for 20 years, in the first portion of the 20 years, I mean, we were doing wet decon. We were selling tents, trailers, everything. It sucked. I actually hated selling our own decon tent, because we're spraying out water during demonstrations and demos, and I'm like,
what are we doing?
It sucks for me.
Yeah.
How much it sucks?
It sucks for everybody.
It sucks for everybody, right? God. And so we discovered FiberTech, this dry wipe out of like Texas Tech University, came out of the lab, and we called up this inventor, Dr. Ram, who's an interesting guy himself, and he sat around with us and said, hey, I got this dry wipe. DOD funded it for testing and evaluation. It works on toxin. We're like, all right, let's take a look at this wipe. Take a look at, we're like, this fits exactly what we do in terms of changing to dry decon. And I presented it to a couple of people and who did it the old way, 100 years. And they're like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
This wipe, this paper towel, this super absorbent thing is gonna clean me off. Like, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Right.
This is all bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is not gonna work. And over time, through testing and everything else, improving that it works, that's effective, that it's been finally able to change the game and change it to a way where dry decon is now accepted. And we're talking about there's multiple ways to do dry decon. Fans, and Corey can talk about all that. He spends all his time working on that, but we're bringing just easier tools to the table.
I love it.
And make it easier. Because I know it sucks.
Right.
So, like, why would I sell products? Why do we want to educate customers to products that we don't even believe in, right? So that's why dry decon and FiberTech is so important to us. and then leaning into like dog run decon too in the future, and we licensed it. It's truly to change the game of how we do decon. Less is more.
Well, let me ask, the old method of doing decon, and if, by the way, you're sitting there going, my method is an old method, yes, your method is an
Yes,
old
it
method.
is.
It's time to move on. Let it go. There's better out there. What were some of the pitfalls with that old method, and how does First Line answer those questions? Like, what is it that can be done better? What is it that you guys do that makes decon not suck anymore?
All right, everybody who's listening to right now, podcast is like, the amount of time it takes me to set up and break that down.
Oh yeah.
Forget it, right? You show up, you're on scene. You show up, you're metering, you're doing your detection, you found out what the threat is, and they're like, hey, bring up the decon line. And that's just like, oh my God. All right, let's somebody go haul that trailer.
Where's the trailer?
Well, I know that
Where's the
where I
bread
worked, it
box?
was like you wanted to decon, you were calling in a whole, like 3 or 4 companies
Totally.
to come in to set that up and run it and break it down.
Right, exactly.
We have some great pictures. I'm going back to the World War I part. We have some great pictures of the setups they had, and they had trucks. They would drive behind the lines. They would go to the site of gas attacks, mustard, phosgene, chlorine, and set up showers, set up pumps, heaters, the whole shebang. And like Amit said, they just weren't there in time to do any good.
Right.
By the time you actually get there, get everything set up, get it running, it's too late.
too late.
You
Too
got to
late.
have something that Army says as close as possible to the side of the release, right?
Right.
You got to have it in someone's pocket, in a bag, on the side of the first truck on scene. And the only way to do that is go to that dry or hybrid method where you've got some decon capability right there, right then and there.
And you're literally doing that. You're literally putting the decon in people's pockets.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's and we've done it very successfully here in the National Capital Region. I can at least say if something happens here in the DC region, there's going to be a lot of our product, a lot of decon readily available.
What do you call it? The PDK, right?
Yeah, that's the personal decon kit.
I always laughed about that. They're like, well, and I would have arguments with people in, we'll say, the Western states, and they were like, well, they can just as easily go through the first, the 3-pool operation. I'm like, okay, let's say the building is like 800 feet by 1,000 feet, and I pop out on the other side. Do you want me to stay on air and lug myself, or grab what's in my pocket and just take care of it right there? And you're like, they don't have an argument for it.
Yep. And it's easy to use. I mean, you made it's an example I use about chicken on the counter, right? Maybe if it's in the firehouse, you bring out 1.5 inches and hit it. But you're not going to do that in your own house.
Right.
What do? You get paper towel, you wipe up whatever the gross stuff is, then you hit some 409 or something, you spray it down, then you wipe up the residue, and that's the blot, apply, remove method.
It's as easy as 3.14159.
And we have trained, I was a cop in a former life, we have trained cops, troopers even, to do this for fentanyl calls, right? So we've got many states, many places where they've got a PDK or a 2DK, which is the bigger version, in the back of their car. And they were trained by firefighters actually to handle, small level fentanyl calls. It's easy as that.
And that's the vast majority is small, I don't want to say precision, but like focused.
Yeah.
Like personal level stuff. You're not typically talking about major, like, oh, I'm doing like the flash dance from the movie and I'm getting deluged with nobody does that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you have like tents and shelters and all that decon trailers, they have its purpose, right? For mass decon. I got it. I'm not saying that's not around, that's not needed, but it's like majority of the calls that I was hearing from customers saying like, hey, I'm only deconning 2 folks.
Right.
3, 4.
Right.
You want me to set this whole thing up?
Circus.
The circus?
And then what do I do with all that waste
225
afterwards?
I just dumped 1,000 gallons of water, and now I gotta go clean it up.
Right.
Who's paying that bill? And I'm
Right.
like, there's gotta be a better way.
It's just got to be.
And we talk about detection all the time, right? We're a decon company, but we're always talking about detection. Well, the reason why is what you pointed out. We've got great detectors now. There's new stuff coming out.
Insane.
All the time. They're awesome. I can stand back across the room and say, yep, it's right there, and that's exactly what it is.
Right.
Why do I need to decon the whole room? Why do I need to decon the whole guy, the whole truck? If I know what it is and where it is, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the concept behind the hybrid decon? How does the thinking of hybrid decon shift from the traditional wet decon?
So fundamentally, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach to decon.
Okay.
You're tailoring your decon to your threat, your mission, your situation. And 10 years ago, official thinking was use soap and water for everything. Mm-hmm. In 10 short years, we've come around to things that have come out of Health and Human Services, out of DOD, guidance that says, you know what? Soap and water is the exception. You should use a dry method. You should use a hybrid method for almost everything. And there's like 2 chemical classes where we would still say, go ahead and set up. If you can set them up quickly and it's immediately available, go ahead and set it up for that. But that's the fundamental shift, is that we're now using dry methods for bulk removal, for immediate decon, using very, very low volume. And I know you guys have seen it, but the folks that haven't seen it, I pass around, a bag and say, this will do 6 people. And they're like, there's no way. It's 6 ounce or 22 ounces.
I believe our one at work was 2 of the larger Poland Spring bottles will do like 12 guys.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Yeah. And then, clean up with dry method at the end. So when you're at the end of the day, all your waste is in trash bags. Still treated as Haz waste, right? But anyone that's been in the business knows it's so much easier to deal with a trash bag full of Haz waste than 500 liters of water.
It's a much different thing of like, for our experience, when you have an incident on the 70th floor, the old way you're tracking that crap through the elevator, through the staircase, you're contaminating the entire building, where now you can do this seriously on the 70th floor and come down with just trash bags. Yeah. That's a whole nother dynamic.
And the way that the only way you can do this is like, you got to have the technology. I mean, like we talk about cleaning your house, right? Paper towel, 409, Windex, what you got. Same thing in the decon environment. You got to have the technology. You got to have the ability to do it with a dry wipe that can do it. And I think with the challenge we fought for so long is the technology wasn't there. We were using stuff that wasn't effective enough to get small volume. You were still carrying around a 5-gallon pail. What are you gonna lug a 5-gallon pail up 7 floors?
Right. Well, so I'd love to talk about the technology a little bit, if that's possible, right? We know that there are, systems or thought processes out there that are just, hey, take a blue microfiber cloth and wipe it down. How does that fiber tech, how does it differ from any other kind of just rag that I can grab at Home Depot? How does it plug into the system? What does it do? Is that technology behind it, or is it more like the Windex where it's the spray that's the technology, or is it somehow a combination of both?
So it's a combination. And so with FiberTech, when it was developed, so back in the day, in the military, they're using M291, M295, powder, carbon powder everywhere, right? So when they went through and they wanted to evaluate a wiping kind of fabric that could be used, they developed this needle punched. It's like needle punch. I'm getting like really into fabrics here, right? Don't judge me, all right? So
it's a safe space.
It's a safe space. So woven fabrics. The woven fabrics are like a T-shirt you're wearing. Non-wovens are going to be this super absorbent pad that allows you to pick up and absorb as much as you can off the surface. So
that's what I'm holding now.
That's what you're holding right now,
okay.
Right? So the outside layers are this polyester that's needle punched. It's like what you find in your car, what you find carpets are made of. The needle punching is then attached onto this active carbon. So we haven't gone away from carbon. We're still using activated carbon. We just put it inside and sandwiched it in this fabric that you can then make into a mitt or a glove or wipes or whatever you want to do. We do shuffle pits. We can do a whole bunch of fabrics out of it. You can make clothing out of it if you wanted to.
We were talking yesterday about running vodka through activated carbon. Will this
it
distill carbon?
will.
You can try it later on. I'm not saying I have vodka in my office.
I'm not saying you don't.
Yeah, the fundamental, you've got different detectors for different gases. You've got different detectors for gas, liquid, solids, right? But everyone's like, hell, we just need this one-size-fits-all wipe or decon method regardless. And we can get close, but you can never get there. You can do things, there's 3 ways of removing: physically moving it, absorbing it, and adsorbing it. And the microfiber, all microfibers do is physically remove. They're actually not very absorbent. They just use friction to move things off, which on a chemical suit is fine. Right? On skin, not so much, because then you just end up
Why would I care about that? Like, why do I care that this absorbs instead of adsorbs.
Yeah. So that's that old question of volatile liquids, right?
Okay.
So I can absorb a liquid, but if I take a paper towel, it's going to absorb sarin plenty well, but that sarin is going to continue to evaporate right out of that paper towel, and that's still toxic. The activated carbon's the same kind of stuff that's in your Seaburn filters. It's actually going to adsorb, that gas is going to stick into it, and it's not going to come out of the wipe.
So it's not just a matter of taking it off the person, it's taking it off and
And
keeping
containing
it safe.
And that's why we also use the same material in what we call shuffle pits, right? It's not just, you stand on it, you clean your boots, but the folks that have done the older style decon standing on grates, 2-inch, 4-inch
You're
grates.
just moving it to the next place.
Well, the grate is not just to keep you out of the water, it's supposed to also keep you out of the gas of anything that's off-gassing. Well, we replace that with activated carbon so that the gas just doesn't come out.
All right, I got a question then. So the old way of wash them like a car, right? Wash them like a car is an easy way to do it. It's a one size fits all. And I think a lot of people loved it because it was so freaking simple. And now what you're saying is we now have options. How much of a fight did you have to do in order to teach people, no. Now I'm giving you 5 options, 6 options, whatever it is, but these options are much more gooder for you because they allow you to scratch the itch and not destroy the body kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I mean, with this, so the fabric when it came out, this was developed by THMG. It's not like First Line developed it.
Right.
It's been tested, evaluated, but the buy-in of people to understand, like, this wipe is going to make it, it's going to replace my traditional wash down.
Yeah.
That was a really hard challenge. I mean, I went into a lot of conferences, we presented, I got laughed out of these meetings, these briefings we did, and I'm like, but the DOD has been doing this method for years.
Long time.
Why are we not doing it on the first responder side? Why are we not doing it on the local hazmat
I
side?
mean, we're so accepting of change. Fire
of course,
service.
right?
I can't understand why.
Yeah, people talk about this as new, this hybrid decon concept is new. I would point to 1999 at the SOCOM community of when the process.
Yeah, they were doing this in the desert back in the, all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was where, you talk about validating the procedure. That's where this all comes from. It's obviously evolved over time. I'll tell you, the easiest way to show people, hey, don't wash it like a car. Come here, I'll put some axle grease on them. Say, get it clean.
Good.
Get it clean with soap and water.
You guys truly are set up here to run these kinds of classes.
Anything, yeah. Yeah, we've got awesome capabilities here. We can pretty much put out whatever chemical you want, whatever bio you want, up to the legal limit of where I have to get surety licenses and get the DOD involved, right?
Where Homeland Security comes helicoptering in.
We've got
I get the call.
pharmacy license, pharmaceuticals. We work with Qualtech to actually be able to do radiation, removable radiation. So it's not just button sources. We can actually put radiation out in some of our training props and remove it and show decon, show sampling. Yeah, the quality training we do here, and having this facility where we can kind of do what we want to a certain extent,
Right.
Obviously in a safe way, is awesome.
Yeah, that is a home run, especially when you're trying to push an entire industry into a 180-degree direction in a specific operation like decon.
Absolutely, and we're less than an hour from DC. We're pretty much within a day's drive of 3/4 of the population of the U.S.
Okay, so we chatted a little bit about the wipe. Talk to me about the proverbial Windex, right? If I was Windexing my house, I would just Windex it. Why can't I just Windex the hell out of the guy that comes out of the room? Why is
He would be so shiny.
He would be so shiny, squeaky clean, if you would. What is the product? Is Dahlgren, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yep.
What is it? What does it do? Why does it exist? Why is it part of the system?
Yeah.
So interesting. All right, so First Line used to sell and used to work on DF200. We used to sell bleach. We used to sell, and what was happening was we were selling something that would clean but destroy. We were basically cleaning a detector. We were cleaning vehicles. We were cleaning people's suits and equipment, but we were destroying it because bleach was not made for decon. If you call Clorox and you're like, I'm gonna put bleach, they're like, don't tell me what you're doing with it. Right?
Don't do that.
And so we started evaluating out and started looking for there's got to be something different from what we were doing in the 90s. And even when we were trying to, and we found Dahlgren, I actually found it at the EPA Decon conference, as interesting as it is. I saw a poster on it, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty effective. Who makes it? And they're like, no one. We're trying to find, this is the government, it's the Navy. We're trying to find a partner to work with who can make it. I'm like,
Look, I got a kitchen, man. I can do stuff.
I can make this. And so we licensed it, and we got all the testing behind it. We continually develop on it. But I'll tell you, we didn't know what the possibilities were with the product when we first licensed it.
So what are the possibilities? What does this do?
So the Navy put $12 million into developing this.
Okay.
Right? No one's going to put $12 million into developing Decon. No. Sorry. It's not going to happen.
That's deep pockets.
That's, and that the timing was post 9/11, right?
lid was off.
Anthrax, like everything was crazy.
Yeah.
And they had an outstanding team at the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Dahlgren, which is where this was invented. That's why it's called Dahlgren Decon. It's about 45 minutes down the road from here. And one of the cool things they came across is that no one has ever made a soap for hazmat / Seaburn Decon.
Wait, what about the coconut soap that we used to use?
No, that was the.
That wasn't made specifically for
Did I
us.
ever tell you guys that we were making?
Hands, man. It's for hands.
So the hands, okay.
We were going to make a line of Decon soaps that smell like geraniums and musty hay and stuff.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's a good idea.
That's a great idea, right?
Yeah, so they keep running into this issue because they were, hey, come up with a new reactive decon. And they said, well, wait a second. The issues we keep running into is because all the soaps are designed for washing cars, washing planes, washing dishes, washing bodies to make them not smell like geraniums, I guess. And there's some soap chemistry issues as a result of that makes it not work on things like anthrax and VX.
And if it works on one, it might not work on the other, like hardware versus software kind of thing.
Correct. And a lot of soaps are designed to remove things like dirt, sometimes oils, a lot of liquid-based stuff. When you get into some of the chemical warfare agents or persistent pesticides, things like that, they're tough to remove. They're designed to be so.
Right.
And so that 2 of the patents are on the soap itself, right? There's 3 patents on Dahlgren. 2 of them are just on the soap. The third's on the whole formulation. So again, designed initially for the traditional CWA and biological warfare agents, we've since found testing we started in 2017 that it's the best thing out there for the destruction of fentanyl, safe and rapid destruction of fentanyl, which obviously is huge.
Yeah.
And with what's going on today.
So you're literally talking about more than just, so for example, a soap, all it does is it becomes a carrier to take something away.
Removal only.
This isn't removal, this is destruction.
Correct. Fentanyl is the example. I can use soap and water to remove fentanyl from a surface. Not a bad way of doing it. You just have to know that wherever that fentanyl goes or that water goes,
Fentanyl's with it.
when it dries out, the fentanyl is completely stable in water, completely stable in water, completely stable in soil. Army, again, did studies on fentanyl in soil and water, and it lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
So is anthrax, too. I mean,
Anthrax
It comes from the dirt.
Yeah.
all these threats that are out there, and the B2, and it's funny, people always ask us A, B1, B2, what's the deal with that?
Right.
And it's basically, it's an A, B1, B factor to it. And so the B1 is sodium hydroxide, and the B2 is the active. It's really the powerful ingredient that goes into Dahlgren.
Okay.
So it's parasitic acid, and like we tell people, what's the gold standard of decon within hospitals or disinfection when they're doing this? It's parasitic acid. Like we've dealt with hydrogen peroxide and everything else in the past, but parasitic acid allows you to like sucker punch whatever threat you're looking at and truly destroy it. And what we've done with the formulation is we put so much parasitic acid, like we just dump it all in there, right? Put as much parasitic acid in there to get as much reactivity. You're going after your harder threats, VX. That's why 22 ounces of Dahlgren are like as effective as like a couple gallons of like bleach, a couple gallons of other technology out there.
I'm glad you guys are using the word destroy because when fentanyl started coming out, everybody's like, we're going to kill it. It's not alive. You're not killing anything. Like destroying is the correct word.
Yeah. We can take this formulation and go down 10 times dilution, and you pretty much only lose efficacy on like one type of chemistry, and that's like VX. right?
Which is not common.
Which is, and that's bulk. That's like you got hit by a Soviet VX round, direct hit.
It's like, wow. Which,
And you're dead, but
today-
the truck you're in, they want to reuse. It's that
nothing to do with
scenario,
you.
right? It's not a survivable threat. That's what this stuff was designed for.
Okay.
So you can take it and dilute it with water. We tested with New York fire hydrant water, actually.
Right.
It's very expensive if you need it for a lab, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I could have probably just called you
I
guys.
could've
Dude, I'll
Yeah.
just fill up a bottle and send it
Yeah,
to you.
but this was certified by a lab.
Oh,
I can certify that I can
certified bad water.
That's extra
Yeah.
money on the bill on that.
But so we've tested. Hey, we can mix it with water that's dirty coming out. So they've even Navy's done some stuff with like seawater, right?
Okay.
yeah.
And so you can mix it with any source of water. 1 to 10 is just the beginning. When we start looking at like disinfection of normal, viruses and bacteria and little stuff, mold. I mean, I use this to clean out my my Whirlpool tub, right? Because I had like crap growing in there.
great idea.
And I diluted it down a whole bunch. Works great, right?
So how does all this fit into a new system, and how do you guys deliver it so it makes sense? Because I'm kind of looking at 2 mitts, a mitt, 2 mitts.
Yeah, I mean, every
I
Halloween.
hated that name. I was like, you come up with PDK, EDF, all these other names, and then you're gonna omit.
Come on,
I'm not gonna live like my life is.
You're better than that.
And then I'm looking at 3 different things. Like, I'm assuming that there is a system that you guys have put together to make it flow better. What do you guys do to make this suck less and to make this become the go-to of what I want to grab whenever I want to decon?
So we start out by talking to guys like you. We start out by talking to end users.
Okay.
And saying, hey, what do you need? And then from there, we like to make our kits start to finish, right? This is what this kit will accomplish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So what's your mission? Is your mission cleaning up a little bit of fentanyl in the backseat of the police car? Or is your mission doing a standard, 4-person entry, right? And you got to decon a bunch of guys in level A. And we've got kits that run the gamut.
Okay.
EDS kit is one that lots of folks are using. The whole state of Massachusetts is using.
Sorry, what's EDS?
It's Enhanced Decon System.
Okay.
I've got so many acronyms like they come out of my ears.
No problem.
And that is literally, it's a 45-pound duffel bag, and it's everything you need to do a full technician decon in a duffel bag that you can throw in the backseat of a car.
And it's not something like, and I tell people like all the time, it's like we're not like coming up with something that's. We're using these tools, like there's enough fiber tech in there, there's enough dogman in there, but there's shuffle pits in there, there's sprayers, it's an effective package of kitting that allows you to basically take this pack out, deploy it out 70 floors up, and make the decon ability faster. So you want to get off target as fast as you can. Decon sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I started decon sucks. It's going to continue, and we want to make it better for everybody who's out there. So using the hybrid decon technique of using the tools like FiberTech and Dahlgren and effective sprayers and cutting out tools, whatever it might be. We talk about 8 mil trash bags, right? And why? People are like, that's heavy. Well, yeah, you don't want to punch a hole through that trash bag
No.
you're trying to put stuff into. It's like the little things that make a difference.
You just said it, the little things. It's like coupling a system like this with an app that somebody can stand there. Where are the cards? It doesn't matter. You got your phone. And you couple that with that, it's a winner.
So when we first originally brought out Dahlgren, people were like, what does it work on? And I'm like, let me show you. And I brought out like an 8-inch binder, like, hey, this is what it works on. They're like, a minute.
Wow.
Make it easier. And I'm like, all right, here's an Excel spreadsheet. They're like, a minute, not easier. And I'm like, oh shit, what do you want?
Hard objects. Okay, thank you.
And they're like, can you make an app? And I'm like, all right, let me go get on this app. And we try it. And it's actually an effective tool to get information out there of like, what threat are you looking at?
Yep.
And we align it with many detectors that are out there. So when you have a detector and it shows you an acronym or whatever it might be, you plug it right into the app, and then it'll tell you, here's how you do the decon. And in fact, in just some of them, you don't even need to use our products. Like, we're just straight up like, I'm not gonna tell you to go use it on things that you can just air out.
Right.
So we want to make it effective for people who are out there. So yeah, dry decon might be the most effective way. Wet chemistry might not be, you might not want to put a reactive chemistry on something, right? So we want to put all the information out there and make sure people have it in their hands. Everybody has an iPhone or an Android, whatever device it is, and even on a laptop that's in front of them. So it's just another tool. And as you know, we do job guides. We do part of the whole equation and teaming up to make sure that people know how to use this stuff when it gets out there.
I will say, our fire department that we previously worked for, we've been doing this for quite a while. We were using a very similar system, and we have just recently, within the last, couple of months, switched over to the Dahlgren Decon system because it is, it's amazing to say this, like, it's better than the system that we built over hundreds and hundreds of times.
I believe was told to the people that made that decision.
Yes,
Multiple
many
times
years ago.
by people sitting at this table.
I don't know. You can
Not
only
that
bring
I'm
them to the
bitter
wall.
about that in any way, shape, or form.
But you guys have something going on here. I know you got a website. What is it? Make Decon Suck Less.
Yeah, make Decon suck less.
Right. And
Well, firstlinetack.com.
Well,
too,
Firstline,
but
of course.
I like I bought all these like domain names like make Decon suck less. Let me see if that's in there. I'm like, we'll point this somewhere.
If you throw Firstline or any version of Firstline Tech into Google, you'll come across us.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But you guys definitely seem like you've made decon suck less. We've got products to make it easier. You've got systems down to make it easier. Those systems include hardware, software, and ultimately apps. And then you also have incorporated the ability to do training for all this as well. So when somebody gets a system from y'all, you all are literally supplying everything that they need to get the system up and running. Am I correct about
Exactly.
And we do, we're not at 24-hour reach back yet, but we're always available
You
to
can call
call.
him at 24 hours.
There's a way in our phone tree to get to me after hours. I'm not going to tell anybody
that?
how to
Corey's
do it.
personal number
But
is...
yeah, I mean, all the time, if people have issues or you're on the side of the road and you got a question, we're available for that as well.
Thanks, guys. I really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.